Good afternoon. I hope everyone's well today, or good morning when this goes out. I've not decided yet. I think it's safe to say that the Tory party is completely and utterly finished. I used to be a Tory. I joined the Tory party to make sure Brexit got completed. And I left the Tory party when Theresa May resigned because we weren't getting any sort of Brexit at all. So I used to be a Tory, and before that I was a Labour voter as well. The situation is with the Tories, the great white hope of the Tory party were Suella, Braverman and Robert Jenrick. A lot of people think that Robert Jenrick has had sort of a conversion and he's now on the right side of politics as opposed to being what he was nicknamed in Parliament, Robert Generic, because he didn't really have a position on anything. I don't think any of this is true. I think it's all an act. I think he's a liar and a fraud. And I think Suella Braverman is as well. I'm going to go into some of the information that we've had today, and it's regarding the Afghan relocation route and the ARR, which is different from the Afghan relocation scheme that was put in place a few years beforehand, which was the ARAP, the Relocation and Assistance Programme, which is different. The second, the one that everyone's kicking off about in the media, is regarding a data breach with the MOD, where over 100,000 names of people, Afghanis, were released, and as such, a lot of those people are presumably at risk. And the government of the day, which was the Tories, put in a rapid response route to get these people out of Dodge, basically. Many of them, if not most of them, have no connections to the United Kingdom. Many of them were actually on the opposite side during the war, and many of the people were a national security risk. And it seems like many of them are either in the UK or on the way to the UK currently. This is a gross betrayal of the British people and the trust that we put in our government and politicians to keep us safe. The three people that I used to have a lot of respect for in the Tory party were the Defence Minister, Ben Wallace, and I really, really liked Priti Patel back in the day, and I really, really liked Suella Braverman. I was always suspicious about Jenrick, and I'm going to go into what Jenrick's put out today. First of all, Ben Wallace, he's the one that got the super-injunction in place, and he won't apologise. According to him, he's done nothing wrong. So he's no longer a valid prospect or candidate for anything based, anything at all. And then we look at what Robert Jenrick put out, and I want to pull it apart a little bit because he's a liar. He's a big liar. Yes, we have an obligation to keep those safe who genuinely risk their lives for us and those we endangered. Now we face who now face credible threats. But as the Defence Secretary said, most of those names on the list, the 100,000 that I mentioned earlier, did not work alongside our forces, did not serve with our forces, and as Johnny Mercer said, the Afghan response route has gone well beyond that. It means thousands with few or no links to the United Kingdom have come, and will continue to come here at the cost of billions to the public. Why was the super-injunction extended for 2 years? So long after the event and with little regard for the consequences for public safety and trust. Why was the vetting of the prospective arrivals not tighter? Well, I said this yesterday. I presume there was no vetting. I don't think they checked anything at all. The public needs answers to these questions so it never, ever happens again. When I first learned of the data leak and planned to resettle those after the super-injunction was in place, parliamentary privilege was not unlimited and I was banned by the Official Secrets Act. Not buying any of that. None of that at all, Mr. Jenrick. Parliamentary privilege in the United Kingdom is absolute. Even if you are under the Official Secrets Act, even if you have a super-injunction, you are protected by speaking the truth, and speaking truth to power while you're in the House of Commons. No legal ramifications. The ramifications for you would have been professional and political, You may have lost the party whip, you may have had to sit as an independent, and kiss bye-bye to your leadership prospects of the Tory party. So it's all personal and professional. What about the moral question about doing what was right, doing what you believe in your heart of hearts was the right thing to do? That wasn't a consideration for you, was it? You decided to protect your own arse and protect your own position. And it's the same with the Suella Braverman, and I'm rather disappointed with her response, because she's not only an MP. People think she's based, and she's also a lawyer, a KC, a King's Counsel. She's hid behind the law. Okay, so if she ever got elected as Prime Minister and the leader of the Tory party, that they would do anything to make the country better, you are mistaken. She is a creature of the system. She's grown up in this system. Yes, she resigned when Rishi Sunak couldn't give her certain powers in government. Fair enough. You can have a gold star for that if you want, if that makes you feel better. Some of this statement is pathetic. I'm going to read some of it out to you now. First, if a court issues an injunction relating to the government, ministers are prohibited from speaking publicly about specific issues. The public rightly understands. No, we don't. I don't understand, because I'm really, really, really thick and stupid, but we'll continue with your statements. The public rightly understands that adhering to injunctions is important to uphold the rule of law. No, I'm not having that straight away. What you mean is the rule of lawyers, the rule of your kind, the rule of solicitors. What do I say? 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of the ocean. What was the old joke? What is that? A good start. Let's continue. Anyone claiming that those who have left government should not have blown the whistle before the injunction was lifted does not understand our legal or political system. Like the media, many of us were unable to speak on this for a long time. Again, it comes down to, I respect the law too much to break the super-injunction. Parliamentary privilege, that's the word, privilege, get my words out, privilege, means that you could have divulged the information and you would have had no consequences. Legally, maybe politically, just like Jamrick, you would have lost the whip. As I mentioned yesterday, they left before this policy came into place. But they knew about it, and they've admitted as much in their statements. They knew about it. They may have been objecting behind the scenes, that's what they're saying, that's what we call plausible deniability. You can't prove that either way. What we can prove is both Jamrick and Braverman are damaged goods. They're not acting in your interests. They never will act in your interest. They'll always put their professional and political career before the needs and wants of the nation. Let's see what else she said. Second, for context, the Afghan response route was launched on April 24 for those Afghan nationals affected by the leak. This was after I left government and was not involved. Again, that's that plausible deniability. She knew about it, but she wasn't involved. I'm not buying it. Again, you could have blown the whistle on it in the Commons, and you chose not to do that. Let's have a look now. The ARR should not have been confused with the Afghan relocations and assistance policy, which was set up in 2021. Well, we're not confusing it at all. Third, the mistaken data leak came from the Ministry of Defence. I was not a minister at the department, and I have no responsibility. So first of all, she says that she was banned by the super-injunction. No, you could have just said, sod that, I need to do what's right, and spoke out in Parliament. It may have had legal consequences as your role as a KC, as a lawyer. You may have been disbarred. I'm not too sure how far that could have gone down that avenue. I'm not a lawyer, but you still could have done what you thought was right. And the second issue, it came into play after you left the Home Office as Home Secretary, but you knew about it. You knew about it. And thirdly, it wasn't your department. This is the managerial state at work. It's never someone else. It's never your fault. Never take accountability, never take responsibility, and never do what you think is right. This is everything wrong with modern day Britain. Take some fucking responsibility, you cowards. How many of these people coming into our country now are going to be endangering everyday residents of this country, many of whom never even wanted to go through Iraq or Afghan. Alright? The protests against that war were some of the largest that this country has ever seen. I never supported that, and I still don't support it to this day. This is the real life consequences of political parties and the power structures in the United Kingdom, and I'm calling it out. The Tories still deserve 0 seats, and so does the Labour Party. They are both as bad as each other. Now, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. You have a good day.